Well, hello. Just in case you are fairly new to the benefice here, you might not know me. I'm Hannah and I'm the rector of Desborough, Dingley, Brampton Ash and Braybrook, and I have been on sabbatical for the last 3 and a bit months, and I'm now back, and it's been really lovely to already have seen some of you, and I look forward to seeing the rest of you before long. It seems like a long time since I stood in front of this camera recording a thought for the day. In fact, the last time I did that was when I was at the beginning of my sabbatical on a silent retreat at a place called St Bynoes in Wales. And I thought on my return what I'd like to do is almost take you on a mini retreat with me as I share with you some of the things that came out for me, both on that retreat and throughout my sabbatical, some key things in my journey with God. And I'm going to do a thought for the day, if I can, every week, probably coming out on a Monday. And each time I'm going to share something that was significant for me and invite you to then reflect on how you can use that too. And I'd like to encourage you, you might not do it on the Monday, I appreciate that won't be the best day for all of you, but I'd like to encourage you to take that, listen to that thought for the day, whatever day you choose to do it after it's been released, and then to put into practice something of what I've shared so that you almost like do a little mini journey of retreat too. There's something incredible I've discovered, that when I intentionally make space for God, he always turns up, and I'd love you to experience a little bit of that too. You probably, unlike me, will have the opportunity to go on an 8-day silent retreat, although I'd highly recommend it if you ever do get the chance. But it might be that actually you can say to God, once a week even, I can find 1 hour or even half an hour to intentionally make some space for you. So I'm just going to start today, just for the next couple of minutes, just reflecting on when I first got to St Bynoes, which is a retreat centre run by the Jesuits in Wales. It's an incredible place, full of beauty. But when I first got there, I shared with my spiritual director, because you meet with somebody for half an hour every day, and I shared with her that kind of slight apprehension of, what if I don't kind of hear anything from God? You know, I've given up all this time and it's costing a lot of money, and you know, if I have all this time and nothing comes, and that kind of slight fear. And it was almost like God was saying to me, Hannah, I'm here. And the gifts that came out of that afterwards were just incredible. One of them is, just in case anybody is listening that actually is responsible for this, one of those gifts was that somebody actually then anonymously paid for my retreat. I cannot believe the generosity of that. And for me, it was just another sign of God's incredible blessing and provision. If that happened to be you and you're listening, thank you so much. It meant so much to me. But to start with, the first thing I really want to just share about that retreat was a little prayer that I came across, well, a reflection really rather than a prayer, which was a bit about how to open ourselves up to being in the space and the silence with God. And I'm just going to read you these words. Prayer is like watching for the kingfisher. All you can do is be there where he is likely to appear and wait. Often nothing much happens. There is space, silence, and expectancy. No visible sign, only the knowledge that he's been there and may come again. Seeing or not seeing cease to matter, you have been prepared. But sometimes, when you've almost stopped expecting it, a flash of brightness gives encouragement. Those words are by Anne Lewin from a book called Candles and Kingfishers. You see, it's about listening to the silence. It's about letting the silence enfold us. It's a bit like bird watching. And I really did find that those words rang true. By simply expecting and making the space for God, I began to see him everywhere and to notice him everywhere. There were times when I would go and spend some time specifically just in silence and nothing much would happen and I wouldn't really get anything. But interestingly then, often something else during the day, I'd suddenly think, oh gosh, I've heard his voice, or I've noticed something. And there is something I've discovered, and I discover more and more, and I know I have shared some of this kind of thing before, but I discover more and more that when I actually intentionally make some space, it might be that in that particular moment, in that half an hour or 15 minutes even of space, I don't particularly notice anything. But actually what it seems to do is prepare me for the rest of the time when I'm actually then a bit more alert to being open to what God might be saying or where he might be. So for this first part of the mini retreat, I simply encourage you over this next week to intentionally make half an hour of space for God and probably just half an hour of silence. Simply, you might want to go out for a walk, you may want to sit by your window and look outside, and simply in ways that I've explained before, just stop. Invite God into the presence and simply be. You might want to just say a short prayer word, something like Spirit fill me, or Jesus, whatever your word might like to be, or your phrase, just to help to keep you focused in the space. But just be in the presence of God. Be intentional about it. Because when we start to be intentional, it's amazing how we begin to notice more where God is and what he's doing and what he's saying. Give it a go. And if you can, maybe do it 3 times a week. On my retreat, I was encouraged to intentionally do half an hour of prayer every day. Sorry, three lots of half-hour prayers every day. Now, obviously, on a retreat, there's more space to do it. But maybe 3 half-hour slots in a week might not be unattainable for most of us. And it opens up our awareness of God's presence. Until next time, God bless you.